It's time to leave your cinematic troubles behind. Let the takes flow through you. And let the noise from the zeitgeist subside. Welcome to Cast Against Time.
Wow. I've been doing your bone sculpting, your hammer sculpting. Have you seen this thing?
You've been Cinemaxxing?
Is that a thing? I just discovered that this was a thing where people were hammering their face.
Well, you've heard about my hero clavicular, right?
I didn't. I was wondering if you knew who this dude was.
Who do you think they'll get to play clavicular in the clavicular biopic?
Alden Einrarken, whatever his name is.
Alden Ehrenreich?
Yeah, that's what his name is.
I was thinking maybe like Noah Jupe.
Or maybe Shia LaBeouf.
Or the other Jupe.
The Jupes are a thing now.
They are a thing. The Jupes. One of them's like 21 now.
Yeah, he broke out in The Quiet Place, right? That's where he got his start. Noah?
I think it was Ford v Ferrari.
No, Quiet Place was before that.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And then Little Jupe was
he got his ham netted. He got his ham steamed.
He got diseased.
Boom.
Virused.
He got him shits broken. Most overwrought.
I just keep thinking of you laughing at him as he steps into the darkness in that movie.
It is kind of funny.
As Jesse Buckley screams.
Somebody that I respect posted on Blue Sky. I reviewed Hamnet, which is overlit ham. Oh, sorry. Overlit ham. Apologies. Fisted. Precious when realism might have served its themes and characters better. I agree with that. I think it would have been better if it was just a little bit more, just like straight down the middle. No forest vagina. None of that shit.
I do think that movie might age badly. Not that it was a bad movie, but I think that it's just not going to be looked at in the same way.
I think people went Jesse Buckley, Emma
Watson, yes. Who I think is great.
And they're both great.
Yeah.
And I think people saw that and went, oh man, Hamnet.
So bone smashing, right? Should we start doing that while we're on the air?
I have a hammer.
Is it called bone smashing?
I think it's called
bone sculpting.
Yeah, it's called like chisel sculpting or something.
Maybe that's what it was. You were looking up a plugin before that said sculpt your audio, and then that fed me to the hammer sculpting.
What do you think about Cinemaxxing? Have you mogged anyone yet?
I don't even understand what it is still. Like, so the idea is that you crush your bones into a shape that you want them, and they'll reform in that shape.
Here's the discussion for the children. When I was a youth, old enough to do my own dancing in front of a tick and or a talk. Mm-hmm. Now, we didn't have these things when I was a youth back in the 1800s.
Dial-up internet.
We didn't have Cinemaxxing. We didn't have to take a hammer to the face. No, we had a special document that we could all read from our local library called Neil Strauss's The Game.
Oh.
And there was a proto-influencer, if you will, a reality star named Mystery. And he taught us that as long as you can nag or insult a lady,
penetrating the game, penetrating the secret society of pickup artists.
That's right. And Mystery was the most successful of the so-called pickup artists, influencers, if you will. And he taught us. In fact, I worked with this man. He taught us that if you just wear a big stupid hat wherever you go, that the ladies will eventually. And
is that why Christy Nome wears her hats? She's a big Mystery fan.
You know what she might be doing? She might be jester maxing.
What is
it's a fucking thing. Look it up, dude.
What is jester maxing?
Look it up.
How do I not know these things and you do?
I don't know. Why do I know this? I don't want to know this. This is the worst timeline of all time.
Everything has a maxing. Refers to social strategy where a person focuses on being funny, entertaining, or a jester to gain social standing or navigating social interactions. Yeah, so they're just doing it sarcastically to gain views or likes.
That's right. You know what we do on the show?
We
Cinemax.
Cinemaxxing?
We're Cinemaxxing.
Wow.
That's right. And by the way, to that point, I have really scary news for you.
Oh no.
Bad news.
You maxed out?
I haven't maxed, no. But
you haven't even begun to max yet.
I've not. I'm only Cinemaxxing right now. Eventually, I'll be mogging. I'll be mogging everywhere.
You're slowly maxing at this moment.
This is a very sad conversation that we're having. No. So these are serious times, and AI actor Tilly Norwood is getting death threats, and they're really distressing to her.
Who is this? What actor?
You haven't heard about Tilly Norwood?
No.
See AI actress Tilly Norwood?
No.
She's AI's most famous actress.
Oh, she's the AI actress?
That's right, Tilly Norwood. She's a real AI actress, and apparently she's getting death threats, and she doesn't like it, and I don't like it. You know, violence against artificial intelligence women is still violence.
How do you threaten an AI?
You threaten to pull the plug?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Or like, hey, Grok, tell me how to threaten Tilly. And then Grok's like
Grok will be like, let me her first, and then you kill her.
Pull from my hours of harassing women, and I'll divide up a formula for you. There she is.
She's enjoying nice coffee in this photo.
Is she? Is she capable of enjoying it? That's the question. She looks like she's
enjoying it.
Yeah.
Is it bad that there's also probably a lot of men that are sending a lot of
dick pics?
Yeah.
To the AI?
Yeah.
Which is funny because what the AI is going to do is turn around and combine the best of those dick pics
into a conglomerate piece of art,
into the ultimate AI Chad, and it'll be like Trevor Norwood when they get married, and then some sad man in his basement somewhere
is going to be pissed that Trevor is with.
Yeah, you know that there's some guy that's got a parasocial relationship with that thing already.
Listen, there's apparently there's like groups that go out into the public and go to restaurants and go on dates with their AI person.
That's good. Do they pay for their day? They pay for their dinner as well?
Do you have to reserve another seat for it? Do you reserve a table for two?
I feel like if you want to preserve the illusion.
We're going to hell.
Why?
Because we're making fun of these
poor
souls.
We shouldn't make fun of these people. These are the people whose feelings we should spare.
Listen, I just want to know, when they go on Resi, do they have to book a table for two?
Well, I imagine they do for their own psychology. Wouldn't you?
But would the restaurant push back? They're like, there's not two people here. And he'd be like, yes, there is.
Well, I wonder, especially because, maybe let's say that you're just really in the hole and you want to really impress your AI date. Maybe you're going to, like, I don't know, what's a fancy...
Islands?
Yeah, islands. You're going to islands. And, islands is a
I
really...
do like islands, tiki tenders.
Sure, who doesn't? But, I mean, it's also one of the most exclusive restaurants in town.
Yeah.
And as you know, with exclusive restaurants, when you book one that's that exclusive and you're not a somebody, you gotta fork down a credit card.
Yeah.
And you show up and Tilly Norwood is only in your phone and she's not with you. I think they charge you. I think you get a little hit on your credit card for that.
Does the person get mad that Tilly never pays?
I bet they do, because Tilly's quite successful and quite popular. I mean, she's getting death threats.
Yeah. And probably a lot more.
And that, they usually say that means you're doing something right.
But we aren't, because we have gone way off the deep end here.
You're the one who opened up with looks maxing.
I was more curious if you've ever heard of it. I doubted you.
I have heard of it. I've heard of that, and I've heard of mogging. And we are the equivalent of cinematic mogging, but purely because there is no other show that does what our show.
Now, what's the mogging mean?
Mogging means you're signaling that you're the alpha in the group. Comes from the term amog.
We're not beta cucks.
We're not cucks. We're sigma. We're super sigma. But and listen, it's easy to be sigma when you're the only show of its kind.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out!
You might ask,
and I might answer. Cast Against Type, a show where we examine the pathology of the mob as it pertains to the world of cinema, where we look across the filmic discourse and attempt to restore some. We do this in one of two different ways. One, by unpacking the ideas and assertions we stumble across out there in the media, be it social or otherwise, while occasionally subjecting ourselves to mysterious media oddities. And two, by spinning the real.
There we go. Oh my God.
Real.
It's broke.
Yeah, it is kind of lagging these days. By spinning the reel of scopophilia, where we let fate decide on a series of filmic-related exercises that are in no way a meaningless or desperation grab or desperate content.
I will say, you know why we started off this way? We started so hot and bothered? Because we're lonely. We're lonely males.
Oh, yes. Well, clearly... First of all, how dare you accuse any podcaster of not having a huge crew? Really, I mean, we can't go anywhere.
I feel like there's a word that influencers
I know
use.
It's
not crew.
Well, it's your
collaborators. Collab.
You're looking for a Gen Z term?
Yeah, it might be crew. Crew might be the most cringeworthy one.
Me and my crew, we can't go anywhere, and so certainly that doesn't apply to us.
You can't go to islands with your crew.
Why do you bring up the male loneliness epidemic?
Because I just wish there was a movie that talked about male loneliness.
Oh, Matt, it sounds like you're getting ready to confront the media.
Mm-hmm. And I just wish there was a movie that got the male loneliness
that
I feel now. Yeah.
Male loneliness that really can cut through, that can pierce the deep pain, the deep national
of
psychic.
Befriending another male in this world.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, Esquire apparently has found that movie.
They have?
And
lay it on us.
What would you say? What would you think the movie would be about that would solve male loneliness?
My Girl 2?
Close.
Fox and the Hound.
Apparently, it's good old Project Hail Mary is going to solve male loneliness.
I'm sorry.
What? You're surprised?
A little bit.
So I found this article, sent it to you because I thought it was kind of a wild take.
It is a bit of a swing, isn't it? Well, I have some theories about what's going on in this article here, but I digress. So yes, you sent me an article from Esquire titled Project Hail Mary is actually about male loneliness.
Mm-hmm.
The Ryan Gosling movie about a distant astronaut and a stony alien is an allegory for guys, especially.
Lonely guys.
Lonely.
Out in space.
Guys. The movie's for guys. It's not for anyone else.
And so this person begins with comparing it to E.T., which a lot of people have done, and talking about how there's parallels between the human main character, Elliot, in E.T. His name's Elliot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Elliot. And how...
He's great.
And how in E.T. correctly, he's a young kid who is kind of an outsider and is dealing with loneliness and finds his companion in E.T. They make the comparison to Project Hail Mary, saying that basically the movie is about loneliness, and Grace, Ryan Gosling's character, finds his companion in Rocky, the alien. And it goes on to talk about loneliness, but then focuses on male loneliness.
Sure.
Specifically. And it says, it goes into like studies. Studies show the issue is especially acute among men, that is loneliness. Maybe guys have a hard time expressing themselves, having been culturally conditioned to hold on to our thoughts and feelings inside. Or maybe we're naturally combative and reluctant to lean on. We believe in the old maxim, a friend in need is a friend indeed, and we're there for that 100% as long as we're not the one in need.
We'll link to this article. We always say we're going to do that, and we don't ever do it. I love this section of the article. So yes, basically this writer is saying that the Project Hail Mary's underlying subtext is not about the spirit of collaboration or trying to overcome adversity
or hope, even as basic as it is,
right? Or rising to the occasion, essentially.
Yes.
No, it's about male loneliness because, as they say, the first step in their relationship, they're talking about the alien and Ryan Gosling, is literally figuring out how to comprehend each other. Grace figures out a way to establish a shared language, starting with the one they already both know, math. Once they can each track each other's numbers, they move on to letters and sounds, building on what they discover about each other until they form a rudimentary communication. Kids do it this way. Adults just forget. You like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's why Star Wars, Marvel, Batman, Superman, football, basketball, baseball, and so on become the foundation of so many early friendships. Liking the same things is the first step towards liking each other. Add up all those likes and you eventually arrive at, I love you, man. When you go grow up, you just get less opportunity to share these things, for men especially. We'll get to that. Mm-hmm. Lone wolf tendencies take over. Lone wolf tendencies, really? What a fucking phrase. Maybe it's just human nature. Growing up is about accepting responsibility, and that often means putting aside your own needs for the sake of others. This is how a good guy becomes the lonely guy, immortalized by Steve Martin in the 1984 comedy about a man so introverted, he fills his apartment with life-size celebrity cutouts for company. Okay, well, actually, I'm going to come back to that.
Yeah.
So, Matthew, have you seen Project Hail Mary? projections
Yes.
of Hailing Mary full of grace?
I have.
You have. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? Just brief thoughts and feelings. You don't got to go deep.
I enjoyed it. I've seen it twice. B+, A-. It was a movie that doesn't have any franchise ties and have to really make you think. You know what the outcome is going to be. And I do agree that the relationship, as the book is supposedly, it's true to the book in that way. I haven't read the book, but essentially the core of the book and the movie is the relationship between Grace and Rocky. I think that
Now, for those who haven't seen the film, we're not going to spoil it. Rocky is an alien rock thing.
yes,
This is established in the trailers.
in the posters everywhere. If you have been on any social media in the last few weeks, you've seen
You're
an
precious
instance.
about being If you're precious about being spoiled by stuff in trailers,
Yeah.
you have come to the wrong show.
Yes.
And from the get, that's going to be an emotionally manipulative film.
Mm-hmm.
It exists to do this.
Yeah.
The reason that this film exists is to make money.
Yes.
Second reason that it exists is to simply line up in the pantheon of feel-good blockbuster films.
Mm-hmm. Which, to be honest, we haven't had a lot of those recently.
Right. So I think it's tempting to want to ascribe deeper meaning to something that is sure to become some kind of a phenomenon. Maybe not the cultural phenomenon that we think it will, because it did have a great opening. I don't know if that's dipped off in its second weekend.
Well, like we talked about this offline, and we don't have to go into it. We both agree that the heaps of praise and the glorification of this film might be a little bit overwrought.
Well, let's talk about that. So I think that we both are in agreement that a lot of the praise is being heaped on the film.
First, what was your take? So we can establish how we both felt about it.
I felt like it was very successful at evoking the emotions that it wanted to evoke. It was perfectly entertaining. It was a prime cut of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that it was a cut of fine beef in terms of its technique per se. I think that Lord and Miller are known for having a lighter touch and are definitely the right choice if you want to make a film that can approd? Fucking off mic. I've been having
I'm worried about him.
Senior moments. They're the right combo to make a film that is supposed to apply to a broad base and that is supposed to
have wide appeal and
have
evoke
wide appeal. And that is the key phrase, because that is how I'm going to connect my bewilderment at this article to
what they're
is
trying to
actually
do
going on. Because yes, the film stars two males. Ostensibly, they're two men. I guess you can call the rock thing I mean,
male.
I don't know. Yeah, do they gender it? I guess they do.
He has a wife.
We don't know. All we know is that
you're right.
This rock has like a big asshole. It could be its face
God.
vagina. We don't know. We don't. They just assume that he's a he.
No.
He calls them a he.
And there's a language barrier, so Grace could be misinterpreting his gender.
Right. Maybe he thinks Grace is a lady too, because they call him Grace. I don't know.
This is great.
Okay, well, I'll get back to that. But anyway, yes, it's a perfectly cromulent piece of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
It works. It succeeds on its own terms.
Yes.
But its own terms are only skin deep. It exists to try to spark some kind of sense of hope or hopefulness, and to try and be kind of a rousing call to action for people that maybe feel like they're stuck in life, I guess. If I thought that it was trying to shoot for something deeper, I might say that the film is trying to inspire people that feel like they can't rise to a particular occasion to venture into the fray and give it their best shot.
I think that it's the camaraderie. It's, to me, a lot of what hit was the different countries and people on Earth coming together to achieve something. And also two different species in the universe coming together for a common goal, and how difficult it is for that in real life.
Yes.
Like, that spoke out a lot more than
Which is where a lot of this
else.
movie is getting its criticism. A lot of people the people that are picking this movie apart are saying, well, like, this is a fantasy world. Inherently.
Where a fucking rock species exists. Yeah,
Sure.
No
but
shit.
I mean, that is maybe part of the problem with the film, is that it does try to be hard science, but it also is inherently a fantasy movie.
Sure, but The Martian, I guess The Martian's not fantasy. The Martian is, I guess, a little bit more realistic, even though he's living on Mars.
And that's what Peter Weir does. Like,
Andy Weir.
Peter Weir. Andy Weir is known for his quote unquote hard science fiction, although I don't think they use that term in the way that they think they mean when they say hard science fiction, but we'll go with it. By which they mean it's grounded in real science.
Yeah.
This movie kind of tries to cut both ways in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
It does try to kind of present this realistic science tableau.
It does it well enough that you don't really think too hard about it.
But that's the problem is when you do that, when you interject that kind of realism into your film, you open up the door for everything else to be picked apart with the same fine-tooth comb.
Sure,
and so
but that's
I think a lot of people are looking at it. Look, hey, listen, I agree.
To me, that's just that's unreasonable.
I agree
to do.
I agree, especially because at the heart of it, there is still like this mystery substance or like magic substance that's like not grounded in science. And if you're going to accept that for face value, then you have to accept that maybe they live in a world where it's possible, that China and America can work together.
Yeah, because come on, what are we doing here?
But that is like one of the bigger critiques I see of this movie. There are people are like, they would never be able to work together.
I mean, are we supposed to have every film live in the existence of our reality where Trump is president and we can't do fucking shit?
Right.
Like, if that's the case, nothing will get solved in any movie.
Overcome anything, and your children will die in a holocaust of fire.
Go fucking watch Eddington every day then. Like, if that's what you want to live in.
I'm
I like that movie, but like, if
yes.
if you want reality, then watch that movie every day.
But I guess the wagon that we're circling around is that this film, you can let it off the hook for not being wholly substantive, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not to say that it doesn't have any subtext or deeper meaning. I just think that it's pretty shallow, and I think it's okay that it's shallow.
It's not trying. It's trying to evoke a lot of feelings, and it does that.
I think it wants people to leave the theater feeling better than they went in. I think that, hey, listen.
I mean, most space movies do that, and I think that is what strikes me a lot with space movies, and that's my favorite genre. It's a lot of like
Alien sure did that for me.
Well, you're against the odds of like the universe and forces of nature you can't control, and you're banding together to overcome those odds. I mean, think of any space movie. It's the same odds.
Yeah, like remember like in an Event Horizon where Lawrence Fishburne basically sacrifices himself to hell so that blonde lady could live.
Yeah. Hope, hopefulness.
That's hope. Yeah. That's hope.
But like Interstellar is the same thing, Apollo 13, like all of these. It's just like everybody bands together to try and achieve a goal of humanity.
Listen, I'm going to stop short of saying that every space movie does this. Who amongst us hasn't watched Space Truckers and cried? But at the same time...
Space Cowboys.
Space Cowboys. Space Cowboys and died. But that is all to say, the movie succeeds on its own terms. I think that its terms are shallow, but worthwhile. It wants to make you smile. Mm-hmm. It wants to make you feel better than when you went in. And it got me. It got me.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Now I'm an easy mark, but it got me.
You're an easy mark. What do you mean?
I'm more susceptible to being emotionally manipulated than you might think.
I don't know about that.
But the thing is, like, I also knew that it was going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, just knowing that it was going to do that, it's almost kind of like when an actor does the weird like jaw clenching thing when they need to evoke tears for a role or whatever. You kind of almost like prime yourself for it. I knew it was going to manipulate me severely, but I was on board for that. And I think it earns it. Some movies don't earn it. Some movies just come right out and like, and again, this is not a corollary to Project Hail Mary, so I'm not spoiling anything, but it's like some movies just come out and like shoot the dog in the face, or whatever it is. When that happens, that's a form of like emotional manipulation that's really shallow. This felt like it had some substance behind it. Mm-hmm. So you go through that experience and you but mostly it's meant for your enjoyment. Yeah. And then you come across this take.
Yes. And so we talked about all the reasons or all the things that we think the messaging is and what it's trying to achieve. Right. And neither of us had pointed to loneliness. You could argue that with Grace's character in the film, he is a bit of a loner. They make a mention that he has no family or friends back home, and this is why he should go on the journey, and he found a friend finally in space, blah, blah, blah. There's a twinge of that, but it's not the focal point.
Well, so first of all, I not to cut you off.
Yeah.
But I think there's something that's already the answer to this strange take.
Mm-hmm.
It's laying right in front of us. He talks about how they're evoking things like E.T., he talks about how loneliness is something that everybody faces as they get older. He says, Project Hail Mary is a sci-fi story that uses its galaxy-saving premise as an allegory for this sad aspect of modern life. Work and family obligations become all-consuming, and opportunities to cut loose and just hang out dwindle. down to nothing. We go it alone more and rely on each other less. On the playground, friendships once sprung up like weeds, but as the decades pass, you'll have to work harder to cultivate them. Well, yes, that's true, but I have to point something out to this writer. I'm going to lead him. Lean in.
Good.
This film, it's based on a book. It's based on a book, and it's really, really tightly connected to the plot of that book. Do I sound like RFK enough?
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a little bit of RFK in there.
Based on a book.
Yeah.
And they didn't really take a lot of liberties for that. Now, that's not to say that a fine piece of cinematic beef can't have a substance of its own DNA, that it can't do its own thing. Hell, we've seen how much better Shining is than the Stephen King novel of the same name. Stephen King fucking hated that thing, man. He
still hates it.
Still hates it. Or I don't know, take the work of super dead and allegedly bigoted writer Michael Crichton. I can guarantee you that, now, I was maybe 11 when I read Jurassic Park, but I can guarantee you that the Spielberg film has a significant amount of more soul, effort, creativity, and does nothing but elevate that source material. If we're going to compare a masterpiece to... I'm just saying, it's not that it's impossible for Lord and Miller to have implanted their own DNA on this. And in fact, they have. It's a film that's probably much more whimsical in tone than the book. Got plenty of stupid needle drops, things like this.
I mean, a quick aside, I haven't read the book. I don't think you've read the book.
I have not.
According to people that I've talked to who have read the book and loved it, say that there's not a better adaptation of a movie and book that they have known.
But all this is to say, yes, we know that it hews very closely to the comings and goings of that book. So already it's getting a little weird when you're talking about the psychology of like your playground friendships and stuff.
So that paragraph is talking about loneliness and life and not having these relationships continue, blah, blah, which is one thing. But then he dips into specifically male. And then he continues on and says at one point, that's what makes Project Hail Mary so magical and why grown men are going to cry while watching it, even if they deny it later. The two central characters in the story are both compelled by duty. Think of the folks and other rocks back home. That quest gives them purpose, and from that purpose, a strange new friendship emerges. It keeps honing in on men and this sensitivity that it's breaking barriers on men having emotions.
I'm glad that you brought this up because I wanted to hone in on this because, I think that it's high time that we admit it, as a podcast, as a nation, really, that late stage capitalism has really made it particularly easy for women to make long lasting friendships, especially as they get older. There's nothing competitive about the way that we're supposed to approach one another. Nothing about our patterns of consumption are modeled after denigrating other people. If there was that paradigm out there, Matthew, it would only be aimed at men. Women don't have problem making friends and holding on to friendships. There's no societal pressures on women.
No.
What the fuck? I mean,
no, the world is really hard on men.
It is. Well, okay, so we
just want friends, guys.
That's all we want. We want somebody to say I love you to.
Yeah, I love you too.
That's kind of what I'm getting at with this. And what's so weird about this is, first of all, because we're picking on this person, we won't mention the writer's name, but you'll see it when you read it.
Yeah.
The thing is, just the title alone, when you talk about male loneliness, you invoke the male loneliness epidemic, and that makes me. What's the first thing that you think of when you hear the phrase male loneliness epidemic?
Far right influencer dudes who fucking push away people with their gross behavior and then don't have any friends and then complain that they're alone.
We call these
incels. Yeah.
Make your bed. So it just evokes like Jordan Peterson bullshit to me. Yeah. That was my first red flag. Before I ever read this, I thought that that's where this was going. But it's not.
No.
Which is even weirder because this guy goes into his, and of course it's the guy that wrote this. It really fucking feels like this guy's can't afford therapy. and like had to get it out in print form.
But what's even weirder, and not to deviate from your point, what's even weirder is that there is no twinge of male loneliness message in the movie at all.
Well, right, yeah.
Like, where are you pulling this from?
That's a good point. Let's drill down on that for a second. Because, like, whether this writer wants to or not, if you're going to invoke the male loneliness epidemic, you have to think about the people that are trying to champion that cause. And most of those people, I'm going to say 99%, don't inhabit the qualities.
Ryland Grace.
Yeah. Ramblack Grace possess in this film, which is that he is a coward.
That is the predominant trait in him that the arc is built on. Right. It's not his loneliness.
But he is a coward. He is a loner. He has been rejected by women, essentially. Mm-hmm. So maybe there's that parallel between his character and like an incel type. But the thing is, and this is crucial, incels don't have it in them, or the fucking manosphere people. You know, people who flock to Andrew Tate because they feel like they've been shunned by women.
They don't show acts of courage.
They don't have the qualities necessary to rise to the occasion.
No.
They don't have it within them because they
just list everything. They list all the reasons why they can't rise to the occasion rather than rising to the occasion.
They make excuses even if a situation was thrust upon them. And again, no spoilers, but let's say that they found themselves in a situation where they didn't have a choice. They would not rise to the occasion, and if they found a little alien, they would try to eat it or kill it, and
or
maybe
shame it,
or shame it. There'd be a lot of F words thrown in the direction of that alien, you know what I mean, or R words or whatever. You can't speak English, so like that is crucial in of itself. But because this writer's doesn't end up going there, I'm willing to let them off the hook for that. But you got to read this article because it's very it really smacks of somebody who's lamenting their own shit. We cling tightly to old friendships. Sometimes weeks pass without contact, then months. Suddenly it's years. We often pick up easily where we left off, like no time has gone by. But the longer that pattern continues, the less you naturally have in common. When all that two people share is the past and don't actually have a present together, friendship becomes more like a relic than anything that is living, breathing, and growing. Okay, now listen. There is truth to that. Some friendships get stale and die. But speak for yourself,
like
homie.
Ours is right now.
Like, I'm just going to say,
we don't get to all do big, brave things like win a war or stop a galactic parasite, but we can do something if we try. No matter how serious or trivial, a bowling team, a movie club, model trains. What?
What the fuck?
Whatever. Project Hail Mary urges you to put yourself out there, out of your comfort zone, and take a chance. What do we do? Like, this guy...
I just feel like this guy's like working out his own demons.
This guy saw the movie and was like, male loneliness. And it's like, what? Like, where are you pulling this from?
It really does feel like somebody's exercising their own demons. He's making these comparisons that just don't apply.
No, they don't align at all. And not only that, if he is paid by this establishment to review movies, he missed every message of that movie. Both of us listed several different things it was trying to evoke, and none of it was loneliness.
Well, Matt, you don't get it because this author sees the losses as a metaphor for all the long ago friendships we have that similarly slipped away without us realizing it was ever even happening. I do just want to cut to the end because like it's so weird. This guy like tries to like use this movie as like a weird teachable moment. I can only think of my grandfather who painted houses and hung wallpaper for a living. It was often lonely work, done quietly and by himself. Sometimes he had a helper like me, but often not. The thing this solitary man looked forward to each year was his army reunion, when the men of the 135th Aircraft Battalion gathered with their wives to raucously relive old memories and make new ones. They had done something together, and the friendships made in those trenches, endlessly loading the big howitzer and relentlessly surging forward across Europe when they were young men, remained unbreakable until they were very old and none were left. It's just like...
But like, also, this is what's even weirder, because the movie... And this is not a spoiler, it doesn't deal with any abandonment issues amongst the main characters. It brings them together even stronger. There's no abandonment. There's
the film only presents an opportunity for these two characters to bond. Like, that's all it does. Which is to say nothing of like what may come after or what may come before. It's like, there's no spoilers here, but the thing is, this movie's not a vehicle for being about the loss of friendship,
if anything,
or the degradation of friendship.
The movie brings people finding their meaning in life, coming together,
and striving towards a deeper purpose, like trying to reach for a deep purpose when maybe their initial ambitions were shallow.
And so this person being like, you regret the relationships you don't have anymore. It's like, what? Like,
and like hearkening back to like doing great things. You read that quote about like,
grandpa and his friends got
league.
drunk and abused their wives. It was great because they were together.
You might not expect to find someone else out there. They won't be expecting it either. That's how he ends the article. I mean, it's just like, look, and I don't want to like come down too hard on this writer. Like he clearly read something into this film that's not there, and that's not a crime. But it just feels really weird to like focus it directly on men. Now there are two male protagonists.
Is Esquire like a male-based thing?
I thought Esquire
because it's
was
like Men's Health. Like, is it like a knockoff of that?
I thought that Esquire was just like a news and lifestyle magazine.
It's lifestyle for sure, but I'm curious if it's more male-leaning.
Maybe it is,
because this is an article I would probably see in like Men's Health.
To be fair, I don't know much about Esquire, but what I will say is that like this just feels like somebody needing to meet a deadline with a novel take.
It feels like an ask the writer, one of those like the New Yorker does that, where they're like, I have a problem and I'm lonely and like, what would you recommend? And he's like, Project Hail Mary. It deals with male loneliness.
I'd like to believe that this writer's editor was like, we need a story about the male loneliness epidemic, and we also need to tie it into this movie somehow. Go. But I just don't.
Or they're just like, everyone's talking about how hopeful it is. We need a different take.
And also, look, the thing that I got out of Project Hail Mary was not go join a bowling league and suddenly, because like that's ultimately the thrust of this article. It's like, hey, if you're feeling helpless, the movie's trying to say, get out there and be somebody. And like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to spoil why that's not true, but there's a reason why that's really not true.
Yeah, exactly.
In the film. So I mean, it's just very silly. And again, like part of the reason why I think we're dissecting it in this first segment is this is the part of the show where we like to look at the way that media is trying to manipulate you into feeling a certain way about a certain thing.
Yeah, we're not deterring you from seeing or not seeing the movie, but
no, go see it.
But the lens of what this film's trying to say, this article is extremely off.
It's just the idea of trying to shoehorn it into this approach feels problematic because I think that there's plenty to grasp onto for women in the film. Mm-hmm. Granted, there aren't enough women in it, but the cast has like 10 people in it. So, and one of them's the AT&T lady. Yes. You know what I mean?
I will end it with this, and this has nothing to do with it. And I heard this elsewhere, so sure. I'm taking credit for this.
Dump it out.
It seems like this is the best time for Ryan Gosling to use his cachet and push for a Nice Guys sequel.
Ooh, well, yeah, well.
If there's ever a time for him to push it, he can go to MGM or any studio and be like, look at the money I brought in. Green light this Nice Guy sequel.
This is the thing that we were starting to talk about, and we alluded to this off mic. Part of the success of this film, and I was saying this to you the other day, I think we both agree on this, is that there just really is a dearth of films of this kind, post Jaws until like the early aughts at some point, basically before the big streamers came around. You could find a movie like this every month, and its quality would be probably slightly lesser than this one. I think the production values and the tradecraft in this film are a bit more superlative than like the films you might have found in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
But that being said, you could find a film like this with similar themes, maybe with a similar kind of, and again, I say shallow. I'm not trying to say that in pejorative sense. I do think it's okay for this movie to be a little bit shallow and still be good.
It's not that it's shallow. It's just not trying to do anything above and beyond.
And I think that's okay. But that's the problem, is because we don't get movies like this anymore, we feel this need to attach all of this meaning to them. And it doesn't have to be. I remember Ebert really successfully articulated this once, where he's basically saying you need to leave a little room inside yourself to appreciate stuff that's a little bit more surface level. Although now that I think about it, he was talking about schlockier, more brainless stuff like Anaconda and Congo. But I think the sentiment still applies. I wish I could remember the quote. You know what? I'm going to edit it in right here.
There is within me an unslaked hunger for preposterous adventure movies. I resist the bad ones, but when a Congo or Anaconda comes along, my heart leaps up and I cave in. The Mummy is a movie like that. There is hardly a thing I can say in its favor, except that I was cheered by nearly every minute of it. I cannot argue for the script, the direction, the acting, or even the Mummy, but I can say that I was not bored, and sometimes I was unreasonably pleased. There is a little immaturity stuck away in the crannies of even the most judicious of us, and we should treasure it.
I think this movie is one of those examples where it doesn't have to be about something really deep. I think that there are elements of that. The book might try to touch on that stuff. Andy Weir is a science writer, and they found a kind of a low-hanging fruit science book to pin a entertaining tale on top of, and that's okay.
I mean, the books they're not airport books. Like they seem
really technical.
Of quality.
They seem really technical.
Exactly. Yeah, they are very technical.
Right.
If Project Hail Mary is anything like The Martian, there's a lot of science.
That's why I call it hard science fiction, even though it's not technically what that phrase means. But yes, either way, what I'm saying is they found the right novel to hang a very palatable piece of big budget entertainment on top of. Now, getting back to Ryan Gosling, should he use this as an opportunity to greenlight a Nice Guys sequel?
Yes.
Of course he should.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, Russell Crowe's not getting any slimmer. Right? All right. Okay.
His weight deviates like.
No, he's actually quite good at it. Apparently, he was like 300 pounds for that Nuremberg movie, and then
which I heard is not bad.
It's for dads. It's definitely for dads.
Dadcore.
It's super dadcore, which is fine. I'm dadcore age. I ain't got none of them chitlins. Anyway, Project Hail Mary is fun, but we shouldn't try to shoehorn it into. We
don't put it in a lens. It has no reason being.
Right. We shouldn't put it in a lane that it doesn't belong in. It's okay for it not to be about something as profound as male loneliness epidemic.
I'm lonely. I am.
Well, I'm so lonely.
I am. We are really lonely.
And because we are so lonely,
we need to spin the reel.
It's time to spin the wheel.
Spin
the reel.
The wheel.
All right.
The reel. Spin it. Bargain bin.
Wow.
I love this one. This might be my favorite, actually.
Okay, I do like this one too, but this means that we are literally going to have to stop down the recording.
Yeah, because we have not watched anything bargain binny.
So,
and we don't want to. We don't want to roll again.
No, well, we could, but I don't know.
I don't want to.
No,
I
like this.
I'd rather watch a bargain bin.
We got time, right? Okay,
yeah.
So so for those that don't remember, the bargain bin is based on the idea that you used to be able to go into a box store and there would be just a bin full of DVDs that for some nominal price. You could pick one up and it would usually be a bunch of crap. But that does not exist anymore. Box stores are done because you people can only consume online. And because of that, we have pivoted. And now what the bargain basement is we look at the slop that has made the top 10 in any given random streamer. And we choose the best of the best out of those options.
Yes.
And watch that film and then report back to you. So we're going to have to do that now.
So
what is the streaming service we should do?
Well, we usually spin for the streamer, right?
We do. Let's just choose one, though. You know what? I'm going to say this.
Okay.
The Sebastian Maniscalco nightmare.
Why would you do? You've seen the Marcelo Hernandez?
No.
SNL skits? You haven't?
No.
He does a really good Sebastian.
I go out on my way to
not watch SNL. He does a really good Sebastian Maniscalco. Okay. It's great.
And that is germane to this, actually, because I feel like, maybe we should give Peacock a second chance. Maybe Peacock can do... I will say this. I feel like Peacock always does have the fucking weirdest top 10 movies.
Because,
now, granted, they're not licensing shit on the reg, and it's like all Universal stuff. But, I don't know, it's a very weird pool to choose from.
It's an ugly duckling of the streamers. For sure.
So let's just do that. Let's go because it's been a while.
Let's look it up right now. Let's see what the top 10 is.
All right. Where's the list?
Oh, here it is. Okay. I got it. Top 10 movies today. Got Wicked for Good, DreamWorks Home, Fast X, Hamnet.
No, I love forest vaginas.
Madagascar. Oh, here we go. Bambi the Reckoning. Madagascar 2.
Oh, okay.
Which I've seen way too many times. I have my nephew and niece to thank for that one.
Okay.
The Beekeeper,
Ooh.
The Wild Robot, and Super Mario Bros. The movie. So we obviously have to go
one
Bambi.
Of these things, yeah, one of these things is not like the other. We're gonna have to Bambify our afternoon here.
Bambi the Reckoning.
Wow.
Okay, so we're gonna step away.
I like how we didn't even have to. We didn't have to think about that.
I didn't even want to read the rest of them.
I saw how excited
that.
you got when you saw.
We
it.
had to. You're just as excited.
Oh, your eyes light
Listen,
up.
we're gonna mail bond over this movie.
I guess that's the only recourse. Oh, I guess we'll be back. I guess we survived.
Don't act like
Bambi
you're
the
not
Reckoning.
excited for this.
We're back.
Oh man.
Whoa. I was not expecting that.
Were you not, or were you? Because I feel like
No, I was not expecting that. I
don't even know how to tackle this, honestly.
I don't either. Let's just go through the plot.
Okay.
Well, we talked about the IP remakes or IP reboots or reimaginings.
It's the IP that has now become public domain.
Right. Public domain IP opportunities.
Yes. So it was like Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie.
Started with Steamboat Willie, and then
Pinocchio.
Winnie the Pooh recently made that list, and there's like a Pooh, basically like a Saw, you know. But you fucking animals out there didn't make that part of the top 10 watch in America. This is, by the way, Matt, this is how you know that God is not real. This is how you know that there's nothing behind these random occurrences that have led to the stars developing heavier and heavier elements and colliding into each other throughout the cosmos and coalescing into swirling spheres that eventually give life to advanced proteins and amino acids that eventually lead to a collision of events which formulates in our lives. This is how you know that God is not amongst any of those decisions.
That this movie exists, or that it's
Bambi
on
the
Peacock.
Reckoning, top 10 in America. Peacock. Top 10.
Also, Peacock licensed this. They chose to license this movie.
That's less offensive. That our fellow
it's more
man,
that it's not that they license
you're
it,
walking
it's
around,
that people are watching it.
You're walking
enough.
around out on the street. You see a man watering his garden. Good chance. There's a good chance that man
Watch Bambi the Reckoning.
fired this slop up on a fucking Wednesday night.
I mean, we're part of the problem now.
We certainly are. Listen, we are part of the reason. We're part of the evidence that God is not real.
Listen, I don't even know where to start. The lack of color, the desaturation.
Oh, I'll get there. Let's just start with the plot.
The opening. Oh yeah, the plot. That's a good way of go for it.
We all know the plot of Bambi, right? Bambi was a cute little fawn, had a rabbit friend named Thumper, and would pal around the forest.
Well, you're skipping a major detail.
Well, I'm talking about the original Bambi.
I know you're skipping a major detail in the original
had a loving mother.
Yes. Who was murked.
Who absolutely gets decapped by a fucking hunter.
Yes.
Bam!
Right away.
She done.
Yeah.
Bro, she's done.
No cap.
No cap. And no glaze. Bambi grows up to be a fine young man.
Yeah.
Finds a sweet little filly of his own. I'm pretty sure they get down.
Whoa.
But before that, all kinds of little travails through the forest with little woodland friends and creatures.
Yeah.
And Bambi's very sad about his mother.
As you would.
But he thrives.
He does.
Despite. Well, in this film, we are introduced into some of that lore by way of a very strange voiceover. I'm not sure if that was one of the cast members or just some random Brit.
Well, first there's the first shot is the ground of a forest with a bunch of litter, a lot of trash, and then a book that's clasped by a lock magically opens, introducing us to this animation.
Because this is a fairy tale after all.
Yes.
And we are treated to, I want to say, about 7 or 8 minutes of very bad flash animation or even potentially AI.
Yeah.
You got to hope it's not.
This movie, I think, came out a couple years ago, so AI probably wasn't.
This feels
involved.
like, it felt like bad flash.
Yeah.
It really did. Sorry to whoever's cousin that they got to do this. Apologies to whoever's nephew on the production that they got to do this on their summer project.
Yes.
But it is that level of quality.
Yeah.
But it does give us the backstory of the titular reckoning Bambi monster.
Can you explain the backstory, or do you want me to explain the backstory?
You give it a shot. Give it a shot.
So from what I can recollect from what we just saw, Bambi's mom is still hunted down. Bambi's mom meets another reindeer. Buck.
It's
a buck. The buck.
That doe meets a buck.
They
do what buck rhymes with.
They have children. There's a company, an energy company that
that deals in chemical waste.
The chemical waste gets into the forest,
as it's wont to do.
The forest kills, or the hunters kill the mother still.
Right.
And
Bambi's only recourse
is to drink
toxic sludge.
Yes.
Like you do when you lose a loved one.
And in doing so, he turns into a super. It's like the second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie with the
That's
ooze.
Right. It's like Prophecy. Yeah, if you've ever seen that film.
So Bambi, not only Bambi, but the entire forest is injected with this toxic waste.
Well, let's make this clear right away. The proper noun, Bambi,
yes,
is never once used in the film.
No.
So,
because unlike the cartoon, the animals do not talk. And they can't call themselves by any names.
And so the premise of the film is flimsy. But ultimately, we are introduced to one of the worst children that you can possibly be introduced to.
Yeah, how is he introduced?
We see his mother screaming at somebody on the phone, whose name is Zana.
Xana.
Because they scream it at us throughout the film.
And her son's name is like Brad, right?
Who cares? Well, actually, there is a weird thing with names in this film.
Benji.
Oh, Jesus Christ, they say Benji 20,000 times as well. And here's the first thing that jumped out to me. So she's yelling on the phone to somebody that we learn is Benji's father.
Yes.
He can't be bothered to look away from his stupid fucking tablet. He's playing what looks like the world's very worst tablet video game on it. And they're getting prepared to go on some kind of road trip. It's clear that Benji's father flaked out. Why wouldn't he? And now it's on Zana, Benji's mom, to take him on said road trip.
Mm-hmm. They're going to like a house of like friends in the forest, right?
That's right. But when Benji finds out that his father's not going to come right away, what does he say?
What does he say?
He says, "Are we going to get deported?"
No, that's right. He does.
And okay, so first of all, there is nothing ethnic about this little boy.
No, they're very white.
They might
Other than her name.
They're the whitest people in the film.
Yes.
Except for the pasty men that get like bandied about in the forest in the mid-act. And I thought to myself, are they doing a thing about Brexit here? Are they doing a Brexit thing?
We should establish that is a British production.
Yes.
So, which I was not expecting.
I was shocked to learn that like a good 80% of these productions that are
extended universe of
public domain things are British productions, and this is no different.
Yes.
Not unlike Pooh, the Pookening.
So they're part of the Twisted Childhood universe.
Okay. I didn't realize
the TCU.
Of course they're part of a fucking universe.
Yeah.
So
Peter Pan was one of them. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just right out the gate, I was like, oh man, is this are they trying to like do a Brexit thing? Are they trying to do a Brexit parable?
Okay, so this movie came out in 2025. So, but yes, it
I was
sense.
like, what the fuck are they doing? Are we going to get deported? He says.
Yes.
Why would he say it?
So basically, this company called
Who cares?
Will Bexer
Evil Co.
Pharmaceuticals is dumping toxic waste into this forest.
Yeah, and it created a super Bambi.
Exactly.
An evil super Bambi.
So that is the overarching.
That's all you need to know.
That is the overarching framework of the film. And then you
introduce these two creeps.
Then you fast forward to this story with Zana and Benji and them hitting the road to meet friends or her deadbeat husband or whoever it is.
So they're on the road. We don't know why they have to go there. They're on the road to go to their in-laws' house essentially, and they take a cab, which weird choice. And they're on the road for like 20 hours or some shit, so that's going to be expensive.
Yes.
They have the weirdest kind of like bumbling cab driver of all time. He literally like is digging through his glove box for a sweet treat.
And then almost swerves into the other lane.
Several times almost kills these folks, but this time it's not his fault because Bambi
slash Shredder
has just had enough.
Secret of the Ooze
of I guess just cars on the road, and decides to sideswipe the shit out of this van.
Oh, dude! It came out of nowhere and it just flips the car.
And we are treated to our very first fancy CGI shot.
Oh, the bones
of Bambi. Just seeing it like kind of buck that van, flips it, but like it's just like already you know what you're in for when you see this shot.
This is like 8 minutes into the film,
and it's just 1999 PlayStation 1 video game cutscene CGI, and the fucking van goes careening down a hill, and then we are treated to like this very strange kind of Jurassic Park sequence ripoff.
Where Bambi's just stomping on the car, crushing the car.
But because they didn't want to pay for too much CGI, you literally see like this puppeteer hooves.
Yes.
And so this
from the Tim Allen Santa Claus reindeers. Right.
So this is also, by the way, where I learned that the film couldn't decide on what size Bambi should be. Because it bucks this huge taxi off the road, and it's upside down, and it's like crushing the inhabitants, and it really fucks up the driver. I couldn't quite see what was going on because this movie, as you kind of alluded to, and I guess we can get into it now, was color timed by a fucking blind person.
It weirdly pivots from like at night. You're like, okay, it's desaturated a little bit, so whatever.
Like I'm glad
but then there's like it desaturates to a point where it's just black and white.
Listen, I'm glad that Stevie Wonder got a chance to moonlight as a color timing expert, but maybe that shouldn't be his second source of income.
It makes no utterly sense why they color it this way.
It doesn't make no utterly sense. It looks terrible. The whole thing looks terrible.
But we're also skipping over this whole scene where Bambi's crushing the car because this taxi. So the only person that gets hurt in this scene is the taxi driver,
and I couldn't really see what was going on. That's why I was bringing it up. So it looks like the steering column's going through his wrist or his.
Well, no, I thought it was his knees. There's two bones. I think it's his legs, and the bone. The first like oomph of Bambi stomping on the car pushes so much pressure on this man that you cut to a shot of his leg bones, probably his femurs, compound fracturing out. And that's not the issue. The issue is that before that happens, he is screaming and it's a scream of like, oh, and then the stomp happens and his bones literally shoot out of his leg and he's still going, oh, well, so, yeah. It's like, what is like his reaction doesn't make sense.
Doesn't matter.
It's like this weird. It's practical effects too. So you go from the CGI Bambi to this practical bone effect,
and a practical hoof pounding on this practical car, and then when you first see Bambi, and spoiler, this man has a bad time.
Yes, several bones leave his body.
Mother and son get away, and they
not harmed at all.
little bit of glass in the leg, a little bit of gash
the
in the forehead.
iPad survives, or the fucking.
But we're treated to our first glimpse of Bambi, full relief. He's huge,
toxic waste Bambi.
So you're like, okay, this is a motherfucker. This is a big motherfucker. Okay, but then this is where it gets weird because they end up in their house with their in-laws, and we're treated to a whole host of creeps.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Not a likable one in the bunch.
No.
Including this grandma who doesn't talk. She's like got dementia or some shit.
Apparently she knows of Bambi because she's doing the
visions of it.
She's sketching it fervently.
Because it's a horror movie that they steal every trope for.
Yeah.
And she's basically a surrogate for every touched creepy child, except it's the touched creepy elderly lady who calls everybody like Hamlet or whatever.
Hamnet.
Whatever, Zebulon, whatever shit.
So Bambi finds this house though.
Bambi just finds it right away. There's no mussing or fussing.
Bursts into the house.
And has no compunction about either. Just goes straight in.
And then chases a specific woman who locks herself into.
Okay, so we're treated to this cavalcade of unlikable characters. They're all the in-laws of of Zana and the child
Benji.
None of them are likable, and Bambi just wants to fuck this child up.
Yes.
For some reason, he's got an in for Benji. He wants to see Benji's bones on the outside.
Yes.
And Bambi just fucks this house up. And they're trying to explain to the in-laws what's going on. I think at some point, one of the pastier in-laws goes out and tries to check on the guy whose bones went flying outwards and gets shot. By the way, we're also treated to this cast of hunter.
Yes, I was going to say
point.
we're forgetting the hunters.
They're very forgettable.
Who they're leaning. They're hinting heavily that one of the hunters is responsible for Bambi's.
And they're tied
mother.
to this
Weber
biomedical waste thing.
Yes.
Who cares?
The company. Big toxic waste.
And it doesn't take a fucking genius to know that they're going to try. This is all some convoluted plot to try to
cover up
Bambi
their waste.
or cover it up, or who cares? But they're tangentially doing their thing, and I think that they snipe one of the pasty in-laws that goes out to check it out.
Yes.
Because we just needed that. I noticed there's a lot of padding in this film. It was 80 minutes.
Yes.
And there's a lot of very deliberate takes where it's people like looking out the window for like 30 seconds.
Yes. You know? And so Bambi busts into this house and into this kitchen.
And he fucks this house up. Now, this was the first piece of real comedy for me. Now, the big hoof on the car, that was fun.
Oh, I think we're going to the same shots.
But there's one person of color in the film.
Yes.
She makes her way into a bathroom for some reason. Well, we know why.
Yeah.
Bambi targets her first.
Yeah, of course. Locks or closes the door.
She closes the door. No, so we should say Bambi is just busting through walls in this house. Yeah. He's just fucking walls up. He's just going through doors. He's got no Kool-Aid Manning through fucking walls.
And so Bambi's on the outside of this door.
She closes the door behind her.
And what does Bambi do?
He pulls out a fucking raptor from Jurassic Park. There's a lot of Jurassic Park ripoff now that I think about it in this film, but he's demure enough to use his little hoof to open the door.
And it's not a handle that like you push down.
No, it's a
knob. It's a knob.
So
you have to grip it.
Off screen, we can only assume.
But they have the insert shot of the Tim Allen reindeer hoof going on the handle and trying to turn the knob.
And like sliding off it too. So that means that like behind the door, he contrived some way of either bringing his hooves together, or he's got an opposable mutant thumb that we don't know about.
And so he opens the door like a human.
And then proceeds to crash through it. Which he could have done it at any time. That's fine.
But then she escapes.
That gives her enough time to heave her ass out a window.
But what happens to her?
Well, everyone else has already said, fuck this lady. We're going to leave her behind. They all get in this big camper, like the most top heavy car of all time. She's coming back around. There's this like piece of shit kid who's like a teenager. He's like the bully of the film. He's like throwing candies and stuff at people. We see a lot of
kicks a fucking rabbit later.
See a lot of upsetting shots of his mouth.
Punts a fucking rabbit.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
that's a special time. You can't jump the gun on that yet. He can't close his mouth. He's like one of those actors.
Yeah.
He's repellent by design, but he for some reason is the only one that cares about this other character who disappeared. She's coming around the bend. I think Bambi's got second idea about what she should be doing with her life. What does Bambi do to this woman?
Cuts her in half.
He does cut her in half, but how does he do it? He uses like his antlers.
Mm-hmm. To slice.
He impales her with his antlers, and somehow her legs just kind of come off.
but good for her. She stays alive after that.
Well, we'll get to that. That was very bizarre. But yes, he Darth Mauls her, and she in half, and they go, I guess she's done. And so they fuck off. But then later the hunters make it to the house and they discover that she's still got a little bit of life left in her.
Somehow. Now, she's been alive the whole time.
She's in half. Everything.
Like a fucking cartoon.
Everything is on the outside. But she's still living. And so we got to describe some of these hunters. Well, we got to describe one, the main bad guy.
The long hair, the Chris Christopherson.
He's
wannabe.
Waingro.
Yeah.
He's British Waingro. And he knifes this lady. They could learn something from her, but he does her hard.
Somehow she still has blood in her, and it gushes out. Half her body is gone, and she still musters up blood.
This is medical miracle. And they just fucking poo-poo it. It's horrible. I feel bad.
There's been like 20 minutes that have passed, and this lady lost half of her body.
Her
and
legs
still,
are still,
is alive.
still warm on the other side of the grass. But that's because the family said, fuck you, and then they hit the woods. Now, I have to say, there just simply aren't this many trees left in Great Britain. I have to make that clear, because they drive for like hours through the woods, and they reach no civilization. I think that the shitty kid who can't close his mouth, I think his name's
Tyler
Harrison.
Yes, Harrison.
Okay. Well, so they there's like a T-Rex chasing the Jeep in Jurassic Park.
The amount of running shots of Bambi,
this movie really is borrowing from Jurassic Park. Very heavily. They make it away from Bambi at first, but they are foiled by a tree in the middle of the road. Seems like an easy thing to take care of, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Bambi catches back up with him. They drive off. They end up dragging one of the pasty white men.
Oh, man.
By a rope.
For a long time. His
time.
head is just banging on the floor.
And we see the aftermath of that later. But they leave old Harrison behind.
And what happens to Harrison?
It leads to probably my favorite scene in the film. Because I have to tell you, I was worried that they were just trading on Bambi's good name. I was worried that we weren't going to get any of the Bambi lore in this film. And especially I was worried that we wouldn't get any version of Thumper. I was so wrong. I thought they weren't going to do a Thumper, but holy shit.
Do they?
Harrison gets separated, gets chased around and shit. He gets away from
Bambi
the first time by like tripping face first into a pile of shit.
Yes.
Which, why not?
Yeah.
And Bambi does they do a lot of the Alien 3 moment where like the creature gets its mouth really close to people. They do that like 10, 20 times in this film.
And it shows the teeth and all that.
Right, and it's got like goo and saliva coming from it. They do that a lot. He does that with this guy. Faces and poop for some reason. He's having a bad day. But he gets a little friend. He gets a little friend that comes to visit him in the form of a rabbit. And for some reason...
What are you looking at?
Only recourse is to fucking punt this thing. He does.
Swiftly punts it super far away.
And this is a little British man, a little British tender crisp. Yeah. And he's not a muscular boy.
No, he's like a little wiry British punk.
But this rabbit goes flying.
Yeah.
That was a bad choice. Because what are we treated to?
A band of rabbits.
Yeah, but there's a ringleader. And that's gotta be
Thumper. Yeah, Thumper gets his band of rabbits, and
there's a mutated version of one of the rabbits.
Yes,
and he's got the same fucked up grill as Bambi. It's like they've got these kind of like these teeth that clasp over each other.
Yeah,
they have these big wide mouths. They kind of look like when Caden has too much Kool-Aid at the 2-year-old's birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
Thumper ain't having none of this.
No, and so they attack.
And they attack, but and
they're nibbling at him.
In the foreground, the editor keeps reminding us that there's a bear trap.
Mm-hmm.
Harrison trips.
Yeah, falls back, and
his head hits the bear trap. Now, most films would understand the reality of the situation, and Harrison would be dead immediately.
Yeah, the bear trap would collapse onto the head, and he'd be done.
And I would like to believe that this film, for a minute, the filmmaker that made it realized the kind of film they were making, and decided instead that Harrison would live through that
while being
but
gnawed
then
at.
He gets attacked again, Jurassic Park style, by several little creeps.
And in doing so, compound fractures happen. Bones are exposed.
That's right. These rabbits are just eating him to death. But what was so wonderful about that moment to me is this man's head is in a bear trap. Again, should be dead. And he's thrashing around. There's nothing inhibiting his arms.
Mm-hmm.
Like his hands aren't tied up or anything.
He never swats.
He's not pinned by anything. He never tries to pry his head out of the bear trap. He just kind of thrashes around.
Just flails.
Like a fish.
Okay.
And it's wonderful.
Was that when the Wilhelm scream happens? Because
No,
it does happen.
That was when I was done with this film. No, Wilhelm scream, that's towards the end. But before that, Bambi, the hunters, as they, I guess that's what we can call them. The hunters, including British Wangro, catch up with our family that's on the run. Many of them have had a bad time. The guy that was being dragged behind the big trailer is now just like a pile of teeth, which was fine.
Well, and then the husband's introduced.
And the husband's introduced, and there's all this arguing about, oh, you never wanted this horrible boy. He's like, why would I? All he does is look at a stupid tablet. By the way, they really do a lot of foreshadowing with this tablet. There's all these shots of him like going back for the tablet, kind of like Indiana Jones with his fedora or whatever. And then nothing comes of that.
It goes nowhere.
But they spend so much time like reminding you that he's got the tablet.
Yes.
Which just tells me that there's like some shit that's left on the cutting room floor. By the way, it's an 80-minute movie. Holy shit, did it feel like it was 3 hours. But they make it this hunter's lodge, I guess. And we get a big exposition dump about like the husband is involved somehow in this biotech company.
Yeah, he's involved in toxic waste and all that.
Who gives a shit?
He's trying to cover it up and blah, yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Bambi busts in again.
Bambi busts, as Bambi's wont to do. And then it's basically the rest of the film is just the hilarity that ensues with all these
decapitations.
And this is where I realized that they definitely didn't know what size Bambi should be. Because like at this point, Bambi's like kind of human sized. Mm-hmm. Like there's a moment where there's one of these hunters. So first of all, they're trying to trap Bambi. I don't know to what end. Probably just cover the tracks, I guess.
Yeah. Bambi is like the epitome of the toxic waste fallout. So they need to kill Bambi to cover up the tracks. Yeah.
But how are they trying to track? They try to trap Bambi with a fawn. Which why would that be? Why would that
Maybe
be?
They're appealing to this monster's emotion. Maybe it's the daughter.
Why would they assume it has that?
All fawns are related.
There's this little deer they have in a cage.
Mm-hmm.
They're very mean to it. So, okay, first of all, I think that it's very clear between the cab driver and one of these hunters. Bambi's got a thing for kneecaps.
Yeah.
He likes kneecaps. That's his favorite food. And there's something cute about that to me. There's something
just nibbling on the kneecaps.
Very cute about that. And by the way, at this point, Bambi's still demure enough to use door handles. Because like the dementia grandma is like inside this hunter's lodge, and he kind of just opens the door with his little hoof. He doesn't bust right in, and then he does he does the Alien 3 thing with her as well. These hunters are trying to bait Bambi with this fawn in a cage, and one of the hunters literally walks 2 miles away to take a piss.
Mm-hmm.
Gets his head snatched off. That's fun. Although it's impossible to see what's happening because, again,
desaturated.
Stevie Wonder did the coloring on this.
There's no lighting whatsoever.
Can I ask you? I wanted to ask you this as well. Who's still doing the keys in the visor thing? You know what I'm talking about? This thing, it's a movie trope where like somebody's like they need to start a car and like, where are the keys? Where are the keys? And then they look in the visor and the keys are always there. Who's doing that?
I mean, I'll raise you another one of this. Who leaves keys in the ignition? Ever.
Sure.
That's a thing too.
Yeah. I mean,
in movies. But you're right. The visor thing is even more confusing because you've turned off the car. You're going somewhere.
You've gone to the trouble to hide the keys.
Why not just take them with you?
Why not put them in your pocket?
Yeah. Why aren't you taking them with you?
Because you assume that you're going to get your head snatched off by Bambi. And that's fair. That's fair.
You don't want to get decapped by Bambi.
But it's not clear why this fawn is bait for Bambi, and it's clear at this point that they can't decide what size Bambi should be. Sometimes he's like 20 feet tall, sometimes he's human size.
Sometimes he can flip a car, sometimes he can't.
Right. We've learned that Bambi's favorite snack is kneecaps, and God bless him for it. There's all this drama between the hunters and his family. Who cares? Benji learns that he wasn't wanted because, of course, he wasn't. Goes out to
his best friend is the tablet,
and he goes out to try and exert his agency.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to save this fawn. Why? Who knows?
Yeah.
And that's where the final drama of the film comes from. British Waingro goes out there. He's not happy about his plans being foiled. And
I think his name is Simon.
No, Simon is the dad's name.
Simon is the dad. You're right. I'm
calling him British Waingro. And no. Actually, I have a note about this. His name is Michael.
Yeah, Michael.
You know, I think about the pantheon of great, like, badass guys in films, like Snake, Hammer, you know.
What was Hans?
Hans, you know. Mike. Michael, the hunter. His name is Michael.
Michael's a monster because what does he do?
Michael's like Michael only can, and he goes out to confront this family because this horrible child wants to free this fawn because it's cute and horribly CGI. Bambi got other other plans for Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Bambi impales Michael, drags him through the woods. We think we're done with Michael.
Yes.
But we're not, because Michael, just like Waingro, can't be killed very easily.
No, but he does some killing.
He does some killing himself with a handgun, no less.
Takes down this monster.
All it took. All it was going to take down a spoiler for the end of Bambi, The Reckoning. And by the way, who's doing the reckoning in Bambi? I guess it would be Bambi.
Bambi has been doing most of the reckoning.
He's been doing most of the reckoning.
But then he gets his own reckoning.
He gets his own reckoning with a handgun.
Yeah.
And literally gets like shot in the leg and maybe like in the chest.
Hits an artery.
And you would think that wouldn't be enough, but it is enough to kill Bambi.
Yeah, somebody gets cut in half, they're still alive, but Bambi gets shot in the leg and he dies.
Sure. Makes perfect sense. Now, the movie tries to do a bit of tenderness to us. It tried to get us.
Mm-hmm.
This movie wants to make you feel, Matt.
Just like Project Hail Mary.
How did you feel when... Well, first of all...
I was just happy.
We're led to believe that he's okay.
Yeah.
If you release an animal from its cage in front of him, that's all it needs to realize that it doesn't need to fuck you up.
Mm-hmm.
Even though for some reason it decided every one of these fuckers was expendable.
Just kneecapping
at the beginning,
all these
eating
people.
Kneecaps across the land. But for some reason, Zana, name we've heard 1,000 times at this point,
Zana and Benji,
releases this dough in front of it, and it does the Alien 3 thing for a final time, and then they're done. And Bambi licks this thing, which is horrifying. Bambi dies, and this thing, what is the final thing the fawn does after Bambi dies?
I can't recall.
It howls. Now, I don't know a lot about biology. I don't know a lot about a lot of things.
Deers don't howl.
Gotta say, pretty sure that they don't. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that out there. But we do have to end with the final thing that happens to Simon, who's Benji's dad. He ends up in a car with somebody that we thought we were done with, but we're not done. Thumper's also got to find
Thumper attacks him. Yeah, Thumper shows up, which is another Jurassic Park call out of the fucking small dinosaur.
Yeah,
Is it with Newman?
It's with Newman.
Yeah.
Newman and the Dilophosaurus or Dilophosaurus.
So the Thumper shows up in the passenger seat and
then we hear, what do we hear?
A Wilhelm scream.
We hear the fucking Wilhelm scream, and I'm so done with it. I'm so done with it. It's the mark of piss now. It used to be a mark of quality. Now
I'm shocked that it took that long for it to show up.
How is it still? I guess it's just public domain.
Well, yeah, it absolutely is.
Well, that's horrible. Because that means that any fucking horrible TikToker can just throw it in their shit.
Because they probably didn't shoot a reaction with that actor, and they're like, fuck, we're in post-production.
It's very clear that a lot of the decisions that they made in this film were based on not wanting to CGI that deer.
Yes.
They're doing a lot of padding in this thing. I saw your eyes light up when you saw it on that list of the top 10. And mine did too, particularly because it's 80 minutes. I went,
yes.
Great, 80 minutes.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm.
We watched it on Peacock, and I don't pay for premium Peacock.
All the commercial breaks?
So we got all the commercial breaks, and guess which one kept coming up, and up, aside from like Sky Rizzy and shit. It was the unlikable assembly of the worst creeps on the planet. That's right, the Progressive Gang.
Yes.
Of all the people that I would like to watch have to fight each other to the death with rusty hooks, Flo and her gang of the Progressive Gang. I hate them so much more than Jake from State. So much more than Jake from State Farm.
Or the Geico people.
So much more than the chaos agent from whatever insurance that is.
Allstate.
Who cares?
Yeah.
So much more than J. Jonah Jameson for being involved with farmers. Even worse than Shaq and the General.
Yeah, that's true. I'd rather watch Shaq and the General.
I would love to see...
Flo sucks.
I would love to see that cast of people in real life have to decide which one of them they're going to kill to eat.
You would want Bambi to take their kneecaps.
But of course, as every fucking ad streamer does, they drop them into the very worst possible places.
Yeah.
There was one more thing I wanted to touch on before we leave old Bams. So there's like this dementia lady, and we think that she gets blowed up real good. She doesn't.
No.
she has one last piece of action to do. She has to kill Waingro Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
She murks the shit out.
She does murk him.
She blows some head off. And it's only after that she suddenly starts remembering like people's names and stuff.
Yeah, murder brought her clarity.
May be the cure for dementia.
Yeah, just give dementia patients a handgun,
a shotgun. It's a special time. It's 80 minutes. I don't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it.
Better or worse than War of the Worlds?
War of the Worlds? Oh, sorry. I was thinking about the Steve Spielberg.
No, the better one.
Better or worse? Well, War of the Worlds, you can have a fun kind of Mystery Science Theater 3000 experience with.
You don't think we had that with Bambi?
No, you know why? Because there's like maybe 30 minutes of padding in this, where it's like somebody will very slowly be walking.
Yeah.
Towards a.
How long do you think the movie is without the padding?
Bear trap or window. How long? Probably like 40 minutes. I mean, that's the thing. Like that flash animation to begin,
that's like 5 minutes there.
It's like 7 or 8 minutes long, and it could have been done in like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
very easily. And honestly, it probably would have been better if they just had like flew a drone around a forest.
Yeah,
like you didn't need any of that. Yeah, no, I can't recommend. But that's not really, this segment's not about that.
How we end the segment is we got to determine how much we would pay for it.
That's right. That's our unique review system for the bargain bin. What are you going to pay for Bambi in the bargain bin?
$250.
$250, huh? That feels appropriate.
I was going to say $275, but that extra 25 cents seems high.
I'm going to say $3.30 because this movie felt like it was about three and a half hours long. So I'm going to say 3 hours, 30 cents. That's what I'm paying for Bambi: The Reckoning. And when I find it in the hypothetical bargain bin that no longer exists,
you will buy it right up.
That's going to do it.
Wow.
Cast Against Time. castagainsttype@gmail.com. That's where you can reach us. Please reach us. Please. Reach out and touch us. Eat our kneecaps at castagainsttype@gmail.com. Send us queries and queefs. If you can't do that, you can still simply continue to listen at any of your pod snatchers, and the most popular among them are iTunes, Spotify,
Apple
Amazon,
Podcasts, yeah,
iHeart, and you can just simply grab our RSS feed to plug into any of your snatch at, what the fuck is it? Oh, soundcloud.com/catpod, where you'll find that.
Our Riz feed.
Give us a little reco.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you can find us on YouTube. We don't ever plug that.
No, apparently that's where Jamie listens to us.
Yeah, well, I did notice that one of our episodes has like 30 listens on there.
There we go.
Which is shocking considering that I didn't even know we had YouTube. So there you go.
Yes.
Some bot
our Riz feed feeds to YouTube.
That's right. But in the meantime, try not to look smacks too hard. Try to make sure if you're hitting yourself in the face with the hammer,
protect those kneecaps.
Don't aim for the kneecaps. Okay, goodbye.
Bye.